So Donald Trump had put out a tweet targeting South Africa and trying to insert himself into the situation in South Africa where they're going to take land from the colonizers and give it back to the people that it belongs to, because the colonizers didn't get the land fairly. They murdered, they stole, they pillaged, they raped. We know the story of the colonizer. Now, Donald Trump, he's supposed to be this Mr. America first and protecting America. All of a sudden, he wants to put himself inside of that issue that has nothing to do with America, based off of a fake news story from Fox News Channel. And this fake news story is peddled by a lot of white supremacists. Now, the tweet Donald Trump put up says, "I've asked Secretary of State Pompeo to closely study the South African land and farm seizures and expropriations and the large-scale killings of farmers. South African government is now seizing land from white farmers." And he put Tucker Carlson and Fox News. Yes, he takes all his briefings from Fox News, Tucker Carlson, or anybody on that network, instead of doing like other presidents would do and use their advisors, national security. No, this guy, he takes all his cues from Fox News Channel. This is why this guy is not qualified. He is a national embarrassment. When we was in Ethiopia, many people was asking us how we even have that guy as our president. People were laughing at this guy. I mean, he is a straight embarrassment to the whole country. It's really sad. So after this tweet come out, Julius Malema of the EFF had made a response to Donald Trump's tweets. So let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Trump, my view is that Donald Trump is contributing in this debate which is going on. And in the process of contribution, Donald Trump make a similar contribution that were made by white people, all of them, in the hearings, in the public hearings. Donald Trump is not saying anything we have not heard from white people in all the hearings. I even commented and said, I'm still to meet a white person who support expropriation of land without compensation. So why are you shocked? I see leaders of the EFF and everybody responding to Donald Trump. I don't have time for nonsense. I expected this. And more backlash is going to come. If South Africans are not ready to expropriate the land because they are scared of sanctions, they are scared of backlash, then don't vote for the EFF. Because you vote for us, we are going to expropriate land. And Donald Trump will come for us. And Britain will come for us. And the EU will come for us. I said, and I said this throughout my life in the movement, that for everything good comes the pain before. If you're not prepared, South Africa, to take the pain, then forget about the land. Donald Trump has not said anything extreme. Things are still going to come. I hope the Zuma group in the ANC, which is supporting this thing, they know the consequences. We know the consequences. We know that the first response will be killing. They will kill us for that. There's a group of white right-wingers who are being trained by Jews in Pretoria to be snipers. Snipers. They are not training guns. In the EFF, we are training toy guns. They're dealing with real stuff. They are training in a farm in Pretoria. We know it. To be snipers. So we know that death is the first price we are prepared to pay. The second price we are prepared to pay for this land is poverty. They will close taps. But if there is a conviction, and not sloganeering and public opinions, then we must be prepared for everything. It's a war. We must be prepared for Donald Trump and all of them. We're not scared of them. We remain unshaken. Actually, we are more determined after the Donald Trump tweet to expropriate our land without compensation. There is no white genocide here. It's an absolute rubbish to say there is white genocide. There is black genocide in the USA. They are killing black people. in the USA. There is black genocide here in South Africa. Black people are being killed all the time. A farmer has been sentenced to life now recently for having killed a farm worker. Imagine if it was a black person sent life for having killed a white person. It will be news all over. But this black person was killed and a white farmer sent to prison for long time in jail. It's once off reporting and it's done. There is no scientific evidence that points to any white genocide in South Africa. It's not true. And we're not scared of such things. We're not going to be distracted by anyone. Only death will stop us. Not Trump, not poverty, not sanctions. We have all of them in our mind. We know the consequences of what we're asking for. We know it. And it's not like we're going into this thing without knowing the consequences. So AfriForum is the embassy of the USA. If you want issues to reach USA, go to AfriForum. Then you shall get a proper response. But otherwise, AfriForum is nothing to us. We're not scared of AfriForum. We're continuing business as usual. No, that we're not these Twitter revolutionaries who say all sorts of things about Donald Trump. If you were to say to them, all of them, let's go to the US embassy, none of them will come. They tweet from their comfort beds with bed heaters. So we are on the streets. We were fighting this thing on the streets. We are on the picket lines. That's why we're not shaken. We know this is what people want. And if there is anyone who's in this thing without knowing the consequences, then you are in the wrong place.
Now, after everything that Julius Malema has stated here, and we're going to touch on that, of all people that really came out against Donald Trump was the ADL. I was quite surprised. Well, let me read that statement. It says, it is extremely disturbing that the President of the United States echoed a long-standing and false white supremacist claim that South Africa's white farmers are targets of large-scale racially motivated killings by South Africa's black majority. White supremacists in the United States have made such claims for years. In early 2012, the ADL Center of Extremism documented how white supremacists in the United States were gearing up for protests as part of something they termed the South Africa Project. The goal of the organizers, which included representatives from major neo-Nazi, racist, skinhead, traditional white supremacists, Christian identity groups, as well as racist prison gangs, was to stop the alleged genocide of whites in South Africa. The protest originated in 2011 at the hands of Monica Stone, a longtime member of the Louisiana-based white supremacist Christian Defense League and an immigrant from South Africa. Since then, white supremacist references to genocide in South Africa have been common. Richard Spencer, for example, focused on the plight of the Boers in South Africa in his March speech at Michigan State University, suggesting the United States might see something similar. We would hope that the president will try to understand the facts and realities of the situation in South Africa rather than repeat disturbing racially divisive talking points used most frequently by white supremacists. But you have to understand, Donald Trump himself is a white supremacist, so he's only speaking what his people says, okay? And Donald Trump, as even a lot of people in Ethiopia told me, they see that he's only for white people only. He's not for everybody in America. I mean, it's not that very hard to see that. I mean, Donald Trump is a straight white supremacist. Even when another white person was killed in Charlottesville, he still said there was good people on both sides. So he said that neo-Nazis are good people too, and white supremacists are good people too. Even though they murdered someone, they're still good people. Julius Malema, he hit on a lot of points. Now, one thing he brought up is the black genocide in the U.S. There's been a black genocide ever since we've been here. And let me tell you something. People on the continent know about the genocide that's happening to us right here. They know exactly what's happening to us. They articulate that very well when you have a conversation with them on the continent. Oh, yes, they know our problems. Yes, they know our issues. It is not a secret. And the advent of social media made sure everybody know it. The thing is, what the issue with Julius Malema, and you have to understand how global white supremacy works. They don't want to see any African nation or any group of black people rise up and become free of the colonizer, because they're looking at it like this. Wait a minute, this Malema guy, if he could free South Africa from the hands of these colonizers, then what about our Negroes here in America? Then they're going to get inspired and do the same thing. And there's more of them, and they have a history of fighting back, a lot more than the South Africans do. So they don't want their Negroes to get riled up. How many times have we saw things where they say, well, you got to stop this leader, stop this person, because we don't want the Negroes to get riled up. That's their whole thing. They don't want us to be free. As long as we under their oppression, as long as we under their devilment, then they are happy. That's why I say they are the white supremacists. It's the devil that the Bible speaks of. Only a devil wants you oppressed. Only a devil will want you in chains. Only a devil would not want you to have freedom, justice, or any kind of life that's happy for you. That's only Satan would do that. That's not nothing that a human being would do. Now, Donald Trump, what he needs to be worrying about is Robert Mueller at this point, and how his lawyer, Michael Cohen, had just pled guilty. And this guy knew all his dirt. That Michael Cohen is not going to sit up there and go to jail for Trump. He's not going to do nothing for Trump. They just got another guy, gave him immunity with the National Enquirer, the CEO of that. He going to start putting out dirt on Trump. He need to worry about the impeachment. That's what you need to worry about at this point. I mean, at first I wouldn't even mention that impeachment stuff, but what's happening around him, like, that's what you need to be focused on. Now South Africa, what's happening there. Because this is the thing. Black people, Africa, and also through us throughout the diaspora, it has been the word and I believe the calling of God for us now to rise. We have been put down for hundreds and hundreds of years. We have been oppressed for hundreds and hundreds of years. And I like the logo that they have inside of the African Union. They have a logo called Africa Rising, and that's a beautiful logo, and that's prophetic, but I believe that's happening throughout all the world. We are rising, including them on the continent. This is why they understand and telling us to come back to help them, because they know we have skills, we have things that they need to help bring Africa up, to bring the continent of Africa to a place that it'll not only be great, but it'd be better than what it ever been before. So as this colonizer, because he's going down, trust me, everybody outside of this country knows it's going down here very, very fast. And they can't even figure out why and how. But you and me aren't going down in the process, because that's not our judgment. The thing is, if they try to put their hands on South Africa, watch what's going to end up happening to them by God. Watch how God do things to them they didn't see coming. Because you can't be putting your hands, you can't oppress people forever. The day of you oppressing the African continent is over. It's over. No more. It's time for the people to have freedom for once. It's time for them to take control of their own land, their own destiny. It's time. You're not going to be a perpetual colonizer and a perpetual slave master over a group of people no longer. You're not God. You don't have that power. And this is what's going on there. And just like he said, they training to kill, because that's all they do, these white supremacists. They are the most primitive group of people that's running around society, the white supremacists. All thing they know to do is kill. But let me tell you something. What good is your gun? What good is your killing when you're fighting against God? And that's the whole thing they don't realize. I could run a laundry list of issues why they losing more than anything else. That's why they're so scared. See, Trump, that's that not even a dog whistle. He's worried that we in America are going to get inspired by Julius Malema and saying, wait a minute, maybe we should stand up and fight for our rights for a change. We watch these cops murdering our children, shooting people in the back, and we say nothing. We quickly forgive, which we should not have no forgiveness in our heart at all. Like they said in another video I watched, the time of forgiveness and reconciliation is over. And I agree with that. It's no time to explain racism no more. It's no time to, no, ain't none of that. It's time for us to be free and free from oppression. And that is a godly thing, to want to be free from oppression. Anybody that wants you to stay oppressed and stay controlling you and stay treating you like a fifth-class citizen is of the devil. So Julius Malema and the EFF is right to stand up for the people in South Africa. How is it okay that you have a small group of people controlling all the land, and they can't produce no title deeds? They can't produce nothing to say, I got this the right way, because they know they didn't. Everything these people have gotten, I told you this before, whether it's South Africa or wherever else they've been, has been theft, murder, destruction, pillaging, rape. Nothing has ever been done the right way. Brotherhood, working hard together, none of that. That's not how they came to power, and that's not how they maintain their power. Now, as Julius Malema said, he didn't get involved with that not knowing the consequences, because he know who the white supremacists are just as much as we know. They're going to try to do sanctions. They're going to try to do all kinds of things, right? But see, the thing, what they don't realize is China, what they're going to do, they're going to backdoor, and they're going to start giving money to South Africa, where the sanctions not going to work. That's how China, because see, China want to do everything against the United States that it can, especially more so now than ever, right? So China's undermining the United States, especially a lot of places in Africa. Now, I heard the situation about China and Africa, especially in the area of business. And, you know, a lot of times we say China don't need to be there, X, Y, Z. Well, then I was explained to by the prominent business people in Ethiopia that the reason why they're dealing with China, because China gives the money, China wants to invest, but China don't want to control the country. They want to just leave the politics alone. They just want to make money. And they're hiring, like, for instance, Ethiopian workers to build these buildings. They're not having the guys to sit out and not make any money. It's kind of hard for them not to take that deal when they're creating jobs and also investing into the country, because they say that when America comes in, they want to tell you what your president what to do. They want to put what laws you should be following, everything, just so they invested some money. So they're saying, hell no, we rather deal with China. So if they do pull sanctions, I can see China coming right behind them and saying, look, I'll give you money to sustain yourself during the sanctions. Don't worry about it. Because these white supremacists, they are hell-bent on oppressing God's people. They're hell-bent on that. But trust me, they could try it all they want. Trump could try it all he wants, and that's fine. But the thing is, it's not going to work. The EU, if they try it, it's not going to work. If the UK try it, it's not going to work. None of it's going to work, because it is time for Africa to rise. I believe it's been sanctioned by God now for Africa to rise, and there's nothing you could do when God puts his word out to say, hey, it's time for you to come up, because the writing's on the wall. I see it. I see it. All the calls for us to come back home, that's happening in every African nation. No, something's going on, and you got the third eye to see what I'm talking about spiritually. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So we definitely stand with South Africa and the EFF. Brothers and sisters, don't put up with the white supremacist colonizer at all. We stand with the BLF out there. Don't put up with this white supremacist colonizer. If he don't like being in South Africa, he can carry himself back to the Netherlands. But, oh, I forgot, the Netherlands don't want them either. Nobody wants them. So since nobody wants them, they need to humble themselves and get along with the program. But they're not going to do that, because it's not in their nature as a white supremacist to get along with nobody. Either they're murderers, they try to harm people, they want to control everyone else, they want everyone to do the work for them, and they don't do anything. So, no, the tide has turned. It's over with. It's only a matter of time. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular story, as Donald Trump once again peddles more fake news, lies straight from the mouths of white supremacists. Even the ADL has called that out, of all people. But Julius Malema also pointed out the genocide in the United States that Donald Trump don't say nothing about. Donald Trump don't care about the genocide of black people in the United States because he's a white supremacist. That's why.